as Keldon Johnson sealed it for the Sixth Man of the Year award. And let's preview tonight's Spurs-Bulls game. Hey, welcome back to Spurs In Focus right here on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Pocket Cast, YouTube Podcast. Go to one of those platforms, subscribe right now. We'll definitely appreciate it. And thank you for making Spurs In Focus your first and only spot for all things San Antonio Spurs. Come here every single day right here on the YouTube page. And don't forget about the Spurs In Focus Substack, completely free. Go check it out. Get all your daily Spurs information, articles, news, game previews, etc. at Spurs In Focus on Substack. Again, it's completely free. What are you waiting for? Go subscribe right now. What are we talking about today? If you're watching on YouTube, you can see on your screen. If you're not, we're going to be putting Keldon Johnson in focus. Specifically, has he sealed it? Is that Sixth Man of the Year award all but his? Is it his to lose? We're going to be talking about that here from Keldon Johnson in just a few minutes. Preview tonight, Spurs-Bulls game. And yes, we're going to have another nerd segment. All right. Yeah. Give you the warning already. All right. It's coming. Let's going to bring in our guest. He is back. It's a Monday. So you know what that means. It's Mondays with Matt. Mr. Matt Guzman with Spurs on Sports Illustrated. He is on X at MattGZMAN. Matt, welcome back to Spurs In Focus. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. Glad to be here.
Yeah. I'm glad you're back. And, I think we should have an award for you here at Spurs In Focus. Maybe the horror fan of the year award, perhaps. That'll do it. That'll do it. By the way, Matt. By the way, he's missing you, man. He's waiting.
I got to get down there soon.
He's waiting for you, Mr. Terrifier, Art the Clown himself. We're gonna pick Matt's brain about horror genre in just a few minutes, but let's take care of business, Matt. Let's dive into it. Keldon Johnson. He is, at least Vegas odds, just odds makers in general, have him penciled in as the presumptive winner of the NBA Sixth Man of the Year award. You know, before we dive into the debate, look at some numbers, your thoughts, etc., let's hear from Keldon Johnson and why he feels he should be given that award at the end of the season, courtesy of NBA on Prime.
You and your teammates have been saying that Wemby is the clear MVP this season, and we were able to hear Wemby list out all the reasons why he believes that is the case. But your teammates have also been saying that you are the clear Sixth Man of the Year. So I want to give you a chance to give us all the reasons why you deserve that award.
When it comes to Sixth Man award, I feel like I played every game this season and plan on finishing all 82, God willing. And I feel like I'm very efficient. I'm starting my role, and my team is winning. And I feel like when you put those things together, why not? How can you say I'm not the Sixth Man of the Year? And I feel like I show up each and every day, and I do what I do. And my teammates speak value on that. My coaches speak value on that, and our record shows that I've been consistent in my role.
There you have it. That's Keldon Johnson, courtesy of NBA on Prime, given his reasons why he feels he should be the NBA Sixth Man of the Year award. The regular season is winding up, Matt. So he has a few more games to prove it. But what did you take away from Keldon's, at least his list, his reasons why he feels he should be the Sixth Man? And has he sealed it? Is it all but his now?
I think he has. I think so, and we'll get to this in a second. I do think that there's someone right behind him who also has a case. And when you compare, and it's so weird. Obviously, there's been so much discourse about MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Sixth Man, whatever you want to call it, whichever award. There's always going to be 5 different things that you can point to, or why somebody should win it, why somebody shouldn't win it, and it's always because there's a voting system in place. It's always going to be subjective. It's never going to be objective. This player is the Sixth Man of the Year. But Keldon was leaning into one of those, like I mentioned, 5 things maybe. One of them is certainly going to be availability.
Yep.
Because Spurs have definitely struggled with that as of late. I guess this stretch that they've had since February, they've kind of gotten out of it, right? But this season, obviously last season they dealt with a slew of injuries, but this year even, Victor missed 12 games with his calf strain. Dylan Harper missed some time with the calf strain. Castle missed, I think, 1 or 2 weeks back in December. He was out for a while. Cornette's missed a game or 2. Julian Champagne's missed a game. Devin Vassell's missed time. And Keldon has played all games, as you mentioned. He's played 73 games to this point as of this recording, and I don't see any reason why he won't get to 82 this year. Even Harrison Barnes ended the streak, and Keldon Johnson's here playing all games. And so I think that does matter a lot, and you could tell that he wasn't quite prepared to throw some numbers at you as to say, here's why I should. He said, I do what I do. I mean, and that's Keldon. You look at his numbers this year, he's been a very big piece of their offense. He's been, he has more games with 20 points this season than Manu Ginobili had in a single season at any point during his Spurs career. And so I just think he's really proven to be valuable to this team, and having not started a game all season, being in that 6-man role, he's kind of the perfect poster boy, I would say, for a really great 6-man of the year that really comes in and gives you what he needs to give you off the bench.
Absolutely. I'm with you. I think it's his to lose at this point. Now, there's a serious contender for it. Matt mentioned it. We'll talk about that in just a few seconds. But you mentioned the numbers. Ultimately, it's going to come down to that. Look, the voters are not going to take into the whole, heart and soul of the Spurs, the calming force, the veteran presence. They're going to just want to look at numbers and is he being productive? So let's take a look at the last 5 games, Matt. And he's putting up some good numbers here. Let's get us in screen there. Actually, let's put it a little bigger for everybody so they can see it here. All right, so there you have it. Those numbers just the last 5 games heading into tonight's game versus the Bulls. 16 points off the bench, 4.2 rebounds seen on screen, 2.8 assists, 40% shooting from the 3 line. I think that's a credit to him. Hat tip to him. Also, look at that. Hasn't missed a free throw. Look at that. He's been automatic in the last 5. And he's a plus 10.6 for the Spurs, again, in the last 5 games. He's a big reason why the Spurs are on a current 8-game winning streak. Matt, you see those numbers on the screen? What jumps out to you?
Well, it's actually something I've been working on. We can get to that later. But, Keldon, Julian Champagny would disagree with me. I had called it a leap in shooting efficiency, both from inside the arc and beyond the arc. And Julian looked at me and said, a leap? And I was like, well, maybe. He was like, no, it's not a leap, but he's been great. He has really been efficient this year shooting wise. And I think that's what stuck out to me the most about his impact is, Keldon, you don't think Keldon Johnson when you think 40% 3-point shooter.
No, you don't.
You also don't think Steph Castle, Dylan Harper yet from All-Star break onward. They've also been in that range. But Keldon Johnson has proven that, he's adding to his game. He's doing more than just being, he can get to the rim if he needs to, but what he's proving is that he can take a great shot from 3-point range. And if you see him open beyond the arc, you give it to him and you can count on him to knock it down efficiently. And I think that's been huge for his offensive output this season.
Yeah. For me, when I look at these numbers, I'm just amazed that he's doing all of this in just limited time. And his minutes sometimes fluctuate. Sometimes he doesn't play at all or very minimal. Or we've seen him lead the team in scoring recently, tied with Dylan Harper, and the Spurs win with 24 points. So he can go all over the map. And I think he's almost plug and play. If the Spurs need somebody to score some points, get some buckets, they can put him out there. Grab some rebounds, they can put him out there. Spread the floor. The numbers show it right here. He can spread the floor. Now, this is actually what he's doing in the last 5 games. But let's take a look at what he's doing just overall this season. 13 points per game, 5.4 rebounds, 1.4 assists, a plus 3.4 for the Spurs when he's on the court. 38% shooting from the 3 line, so not too much of a drop off. Still at a pretty good clip there. He's taking about 1 or 2 3 shots a game. 3 shots a game, and he's making about 1 or 2 a game. So again, just being very efficient there. Yeah, and he's doing this all off the bench in just overall up to this recording in 23 minutes per game. It's hard to argue. It's hard to argue, him to not get it or give the guy that's close to him a really good run. Let's go and talk about him. Matt, who's his biggest competition right now?
I hope that we're on the same line of thought here because I had Jaime Jaquez Jr. as his biggest competitor.
Yeah, me too.
I think he's been huge for the Heat this season, obviously looking a little different now that Jimmy Butler's out of the picture last couple of seasons. And I think him and Tyler Hero have done a great job of helping that team stay afloat. But one of the things that I'm looking at when I compare him versus Keldon Johnson is, Keldon Johnson's been the 6th man of the year on a team that's chasing the best record in the league. The Heat haven't got 40 wins, and they're not a bad team by any means, but I think the Spurs, with Keldon Johnson included, having been a piece of all of those wins, because he hasn't missed a game, I think that's what gets him the edge there, and he's also shooting it more efficiently, as we can get into in a second.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think Jaime Jaquez is probably the player with the closest case to Keldon.
And in one of the previews we had here at the Spurs In Focus about the Spurs Heat game, one of my sub stories was, "Hey, don't miss out on the battle between the 6-man front runners, the guys here on the screen, Keldon and Jaime Jaquez." But it was actually Keldon that performed much better than Jaquez did in that game. For that game, the Spurs did get the win, 136-111, just smoked Miami. Keldon poured in 21 points in that game. He put up 6 rebounds, 1 assist in 23 minutes, shot 50% from the field, made all his free throws, and he connected on 50% of his 3 shots. So he clearly outperformed Jaime Jaquez, at least in that matchup. And if we look at some of the betting odds here, I'll bring it up here. I think he's running away with it, Matt. It feels like every season, I mean, every week, every day, the number of the gap gets bigger and bigger. Let's go see what Bet MGM has to say. Whew. Right now, I mean, it's a runaway. Keldon Johnson, current odds, a minus 115. Jaime Jaquez Jr. via BetMG, a plus 270. So that is a massive gap there. They say Vegas is always right. Never bet against the house. You may not want to do that if you're putting down money to see an upset from Jaime Jaquez there over Keldon. Now, there is a few more games left in the season. Let's get that. Remember, it's a regular season award, so Jaquez could, in theory, make a push. But, man, again, I mean, Vegas sees it. You see it. I see it. I think all Spurs fans see it. Although Keldon was humble, I think he sees it too. It's going to be his. And here's even just how much he's made an impact, at least on the odds maker side of things. In the preseason, he was a plus 6,000 via BetMGM to get this award. And now he is the front runner, clearly the front runner at a minus 115. So Vegas is penciling him as the 6-man of the year award. You are, I am. The numbers back it up. He won that individual battle, at least in the last year was in Miami, off the bench, outperforming Jaquez. It looks like perhaps Keldon will be hoisting up an award at the end of the season. I know if he does, Matt, I'll be so happy for him because of his journey, his path from being the quasi face of the franchise pre-Wemby. He was the guy that was front and center. He was the focal point for the Spurs. And then Wemby comes in, he takes a back seat, kind of a secondary role. Then he takes a tertiary role. Then he comes off the bench, and now he's the 6-man, and sometimes his minutes are strong, sometimes are off. But he still has that smile on his face. He's still the same guy that he was when the Spurs were losing and only racking up 20 wins. And it looks like if you look at your crystal ball, everybody, he could be hoisting up that award and perhaps be a little teary-eyed. I definitely would love to see him get a little teary-eyed that day if he does get that award. Matt, his journey, you talked about you're going to have something on him. What have you seen his journey from starter, face of the franchise to now?
Yeah, it's been huge. I think, it's going to be obviously difficult for any player to go from being, in the spotlight, like you mentioned, the best player on the team, averaging 27 a night, 26 a night, to go, to realize that, I'm not even a starter anymore, and it's not necessarily that he was pushed out because he's not.
Right.
He's definitely, he could be a starter on this team right now.
Yeah. Hell, give me a starter for any team right now.
I agree. But the Spurs kind of figured out, as they learned to play and build, around Victor Wembanyama, that, Keldon's energy was unmatched. And he's the kind of guy that you want coming off the bench in the same way the Spurs have always done, like with Manu back in the day. You want somebody who you can rely on, go and lead a second unit who, can put up 20 points a night if you need him to, but yeah, for him to, that was something that he talked about, a couple nights ago was just, how rewarding it's been for him to watch the Spurs team that he's grown to love and that kind of embodies him at this point, go from being where they were at 22 wins for a couple years in a row to, chasing 60.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Clinching the playoffs, clinching the number 2 seed, clinching home court through the Western Conference Finals. It's something that I think like you mentioned, it's really cool to watch him do that and the kind of player and the kind of dude he is. always happy and very real and down to earth. It's
Mhm.
definitely a guy like him who deserves to
Yeah.
have hardware to show for it. Because
Yeah.
I think that's just what he deserves.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm at this point of the season and where we are right now, what he's done this season, chasing that award, I think it's his to lose at this point. I would be shocked if he does lose it because he's gonna still be that same player. He's still gonna give you that juice off the bench, that punch off that bench until the last game of the regular season, and to prove his case why he should be the sixth man of the year award. We shall see, but all signs are pointing to Keldon hoisting up that award when it is a present. Well, hopefully when it's presented to him in the postseason. I believe they do the awards in the postseason, so that's how they do it. They kind of spread them out, kind of scatter them, but looks like there could be an award coming to Keldon Shelf this postseason. Hey, what do you think about Keldon Johnson at this point? Is it his to lose? That sixth man of the year award, all but his? Let us know on X. Me at Jeff G Spurs Zone, Matt at Matt G ZMN. Again, he is with Spurs on Sports Illustrated. Go follow him right now. He'll tease his Keldon Johnson piece in just a few minutes. But let's go ahead and continue. And Matt, you want to preview tonight's Spurs-Bulls game?
Yeah, sounds great.
We're back right here on Spurs in Focus. Make sure to subscribe wherever you get your favorite podcasts and shows, all that good stuff on the YouTube side. What do you got? iTunes, Spotify, you got YouTube podcasts, and of course, Spurs in Focus Substack. Completely free, everybody. Go sign up right now. Spurs and Bulls, they get going tonight in San Antonio, and should be another cakewalk, right, Matt? Right, Matt? Come on. Give me some good news. Easy dub, right? Easy dub.
Oh yeah, I don't really see it going any other way.
Well, we got some interesting numbers though, so I'm gonna pull them up in a bit. But let's go look at the tail of the tape first here. Let's go pull it up to the stage here, and wrong one. Let's get this one going. There we go. There is the tail of the tape. Spurs Bulls. As you can see, it is pretty lopsided in San Antonio's favor. Points per game, Spurs. Bonus points per game, Spurs. Field goal. You see where I'm going with this right now. On paper, it should be a good game, Matt. But did you know, as I leave the tail of the tape on there for a little longer, the Spurs have actually lost 3 straight games to the Bulls in San Antonio. And a couple of Bulls seem to play their career nights against San Antonio. Did you know that Colin Sexton has scored at least 20 points in 3 of his last 4 games against the Spurs? And during that span, he's connected on 58% shooting from the field and 50% from the 3-point line. Matt, what is it about guys when they play the Spurs, man? Seriously, they just like turn into the second coming of Steve Kerr back in his playing days. Steph Curry, the list goes on and on. I'll get to the other player who plays well against the Spurs just a bit, but Matt, look at those numbers, right? Spurs got this. As I hope they do. What do you think?
I'm not really seeing anything that would say otherwise. I think when you look at these two teams since February 1st, you got one team is 24-2, and actually don't know the Bull exact record, but when you look on, looking at ESPN and it gives you the green, the red, it's just a lot of red for the Bulls. Unions have far between. So, and the way the Spurs are playing, I mean, you just look at it right there. They're going to score more points. They're going to allow fewer points. They're going to shoot it better.
Yeah,
I see it being a pretty easy win for them.
Yeah, the Spurs look like they should be getting their 9th straight win. So that other guy that plays tremendously against his former team is former Spur Trey Jones. You want to know his career stats versus the Spurs? This is amazing.
I'm actually curious. Yeah,
20 points per game, 7 rebounds per game, 7 assists per game, 2 steals in about 33 minutes. Again, these guys, they just love playing against their former club, don't they?
It seems like it. I guess he's split and continues.
Yeah, I think it was after the last win. Mitch Johnson spoke about that, saying something like, "Well, if he doesn't like kick our ass or something to that effect, he's playing against them." But no, again, keep an eye on that. But overall, look, the Spurs are just humming right now. You see the stats on your screen right now. This should be a Spurs win, which would make it their 9th straight win. Crossing fingers. Matt, if they do that, I believe, what would that give them? 56 wins the season if they win? No, 57. 57. Do you think they could get 60 at this point?
I think so. I think they have to. I mean, there's 9 games left.
Yeah.
have a losing record the rest of the year to not get it. So I think they will.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the Spurs are going to get 60. But again, see it on your screen right now. This is probably one of the shortest game previews you're going to hear on Spurs In Focus here. It's just lopsided. Blocks per game, Spurs. If you want to give the Bulls any type of credit, well, it could be the 3-point shooting. They shoot the ball a little better from the 3-line versus the Spurs. They're at 36% shooting. The Spurs are pretty much 36% as well, but do want to be technical, 35.9, I guess. So that's kind of even. That's kind of a wash there. Yeah. Good luck, Bulls. Have fun tonight versus San Antonio. Hey, Bulls, you don't want to go for the upset. You want to, crank up those odds for you in the lottery, man. Don't what are you doing? Don't try to bring out your A game because you're going to get the mighty Spurs. Spurs should get the W. Matt's calling it. I'm calling it. Yeah, easy win for the Spurs. 9 straight games in a row on deck. Crossing fingers for your silver and black. But what do you think? The Spurs going to get that W tonight? Let us know on X. Jeff G Spurs Zone. Matt is at Matt GZM again. He's with Spurs on Sports Illustrated. All right, let's take this off Matt here because I think it's almost time for you and I to get a little nerdy once again here on Spurs In Focus. All right, it's that fun time of every episode here on Spurs In Focus where we get a little nerdy. You've been warned. You were warned before this segment happened, and I give you a little heads up a little while ago. But as y'all saw at the beginning of the show, Matt, I got him assigned a signature from Pop. From Arthur Clown, the actor. So can't wait to get that to Matt, see his reaction when he gets it in hand. But in case y'all don't know, Matt is a really, really big time horror movie buff. He knows his stuff, from Terrifier, which I'm pretty sure from Friday the 13th, Hellraiser, the list goes on and on and on. But I wanted to pick his brain about this, and it was a little controversial when it came out. Now it's kind of looked upon like, it's whatever. But the Freddy versus Jason movie there, you had 2 icons coming together in the horror genre and having this battle everybody wanted to see. It was a little hokey, it was a little corny a little bit. Matt, did you think that helped the horror genre or took away from it?
I think it's one of those on paper things. On paper, putting 2 of the icons against each other would help the genre because it would give, now there's an entire new world to explore.
Right.
Well, now who can we who can we face up against each other next? Who's going to win in this battle? Who's going to win in this fight? And I see people have those conversations a lot.
Oh, yeah, all the time. Yeah.
But the movie just wasn't well executed. I know it's a very polarizing movie. I know half the people who watch it are pretty big fans. Half the people hate it. And I'm in that half. It just wasn't my favorite. It's a cool thing. It's like, oh, cool. We get to see Freddy. Now we get to see Jade. I liked it. I liked the concept, and I think it had a lot of potential. But if they are going to explore things like that in the future, I feel like you need to execute it a little bit better. It needs to be a little less corny, or lean into it being fun and camp, But I think the way that they did it I think it took itself a little too seriously. And so, that's what I'm saying. On paper, it should have helped the genre, but I don't really know. I wouldn't say it hurt it. I just don't think it really did much to move forward, a new kind of movie or to explore new ideas.
Yeah, you look back at some cringe moments and like, why do they do that? Or whoa, I would have changed that if I was the director or the writer of the movie. It was. I remember when it was coming out, everybody was hyped about it. The movie poster. Had their faces, about to face off, like they're at tip off the ball, sort of felt like. And then you saw the movie, you're like, oh, okay, we got these cheesy one-liners from Freddy. Jason just there, like, I am Jason, right. And whatnot. And then you look at the physical side of things, like, oh, come on, Jason's gonna just crush this skinny little guy here. Oh, but we're going to the dream world. Okay, so that evens things out. So. Now fast forward now, I appreciate it for what it is, just a fun ride. Don't dive into it thinking, oh, we're going to get the next best horror movie you're ever going to get. In this movie, no, don't expect that at all. But Matt, that begs the question then, if you had to redo it, how would you make it better? How would you make it stand out? How would you make it a success as a horror fan?
You know what? Honestly, I think I would like along the lines of leaning into something. I think I would kind of be like, okay, this is not in any way canon. to either of these characters in their franchises, and then I would have one just die, like one fully wins.
Oh, nice.
And somebody like annihilates the other one, and all the fans of that guy are like, no, and all the fans of the other guy are like I knew it, like this guy's better. And I don't know who I would have winning. I mean, I have to.
That was tough. That was really tough.
Dreams would win, but who knows? It could go either way. But I would set it aside and be like, hey, we're just gonna have one of these dudes die, and then whether you loved it or you hated it, you're gonna go watch it because you're gonna be curious, who's gonna win, as opposed to this ambiguous ending. Like maybe they could come back and fight again. I think that's what I would do to make it more interesting.
Yeah.
But also, sever it from the actual franchises themselves, so you can go in and be okay with that ending, kind of thing. That's what I would do.
Yeah, that was like kind of around. They were doing other versus movies, like there was Alien versus Predator. The same thing. I had a lot of hope for that one, and it had some fun action moments, But look, no spoilers, everybody. The movie's been out for well over a decade now, so the aliens ultimately won against the Predators. I thought that was I was kind of on the fence with that one. I think, of course, they did the Batman versus Superman movie, which was a complete flop. And that one, to me, that one always pisses me off because if they just followed the source material, I think it would have been just a phenomenal entry into the DC universe. The source material. Look, you put it this way, everybody. Y'all just saw Batman versus Superman, Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, and you're like, oh my God, that's what the graphic novel is about. No, graphic novel is like 100 times, I mean, 1 billion times better. And then what got me in that movie, Matt, was, and again, no spoilers, the book's been out for decades, all right? Batman ultimately beats Superman, just outsmarts him and everything. And they have this iconic line that Frank Miller wrote for Batman, like the last words he's going to tell to Superman. And he says, I'm going to paraphrase here, Matt, but ultimately he just says, hey, in all the days to come and all the months to come, and he's holding Superman and Superman's bloodied up and he's out for the count. He goes, in all the days to come and all the years and everything to come, he goes, I want you to remember one thing, look at the man who beat you, and he just drops him. And that was it. That's how it ended. Well, that fight ended. It kept on, but, but they eliminated that out. They didn't put that in at all. So, how can you, if they had just that one little thing, I think it would have catapulted it. But no, you're right. I mean, it was in that versus kind of years. But going back to the topic here, Jason versus Freddie here, I think if they just reduced the cheesiness a little bit, maybe made it a little more gory, maybe a little bit more, that sense, maybe it could have handled that. But gotta ask you though, would Art the Clown beat those two guys?
Yeah, 100%.
Get him, Matt.
He can teleport. He just inflicts this crazy hanging on you. He's holding somebody's head in that too. Like, yeah, I think he win.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know if I told you this. No, I think I did. But for those of y'all just tuning in for the first time here, again, y'all saw the pop. So I was busy on stage with the guy, the actor who plays Art the Clown, and prior to his panel, everybody had literally every single Michael Myers. Well, not every single, but like 90% of all the actors that played Michael Myers. And then one Michael Myers actor was having fun with the fans, and of course the fans are gonna ask those same questions, like, "Oh, Michael Myers would take on Art the Clown. Who would win?" Obviously, they're gonna say Michael Myers. But one guy actor, I think it was the first actor ever to put the mask on. He said, he goes, I would want Michael Myers to kill me. I'm sorry. He said, I would want, he goes, I would want to kill off like him as just an individual, to kill off Art the Clown, because then I can go and be the actor and get that tremendous line that he gets at every freaking con that he has. That's what I want, because I want to be the next Art the Clown. So I thought that was hilarious. So here you have a Michael Myers actor who put on that mask. He goes, no, I'd rather be Art the Clown. Why? Because he gets bigger lines at cons. That was it. That was it. He goes, like, well, think about it. He goes, everywhere we go to con, he goes, all you see at every desk, every booth is Art the Clown t-shirts, Art the Clown this, Art the Clown that, Art the Clown pops. So he goes,
he's an icon.
Yeah, he's an icon. Yeah, I mean, you see people in cosplay. I mean, you did cosplay of Art the Clown, so he loves it. But I think they're gonna do another movie, right? I think that's coming out.
Yeah, one more movie, I believe, next October, but that hasn't been officially confirmed either. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the script is almost done. That's the last update that Damien gave.
And then Matt Guzman is going to pick up the mantle and be the next Art the Clown.
I would love that. Oh, that would be so cool.
Hey, you look good in that cosplay. I mean, it was convincing.
Yeah, I got it. Well, I was a little short, but you didn't see that part. But yeah, I think I could do it.
Yeah, he could definitely do it. Hey, Matt, before we let you go, you were talking about Keldon Johnson. You got something coming up on him. Why don't you tell everybody watching right now what you got cooking?
Yeah, I've been asking a lot of his teammates and obviously Mitch about, just the player he's been this season. And specifically, I mean, we have told this story several times about how energetic he is and the boombox. But, he's really had a good statistical year.
Oh, for sure.
Typically shooting wise, just efficiency. So I was just asking about, how big he's been for that offense, obviously in this incredible run since the beginning of February. So that's something that I have coming soon.
Cannot wait for that, Matt. Let me know when it's out. If y'all want to anticipate it as well or read it once it's released by Matt here, you want to follow him on X at MattGZMAN. Check it out right now. Matt, again, it's another Monday. We appreciate you stopping by here. Join us here on Spurs In Focus to talk all things San Antonio Spurs. Again, follow him on X, everybody, at MattGZMAN. Matt, thank you once again. And by the way, let him know your thoughts about horror genre. I bet he'll love to talk to you about that. They'll probably be the most active you'll see him on X. I bet you. That just out of nowhere, he's like, I was copying everything going on there.
I've been pretty active as of late. People have been making me really upset talking about the MVP campaign. It's been pretty crazy.
There you go. Well, how about this? Help Matt take a little break from Spurs talk and just talk through the horror genre with him. Again, MattGZMAN. Do that right now, everybody. Everybody else, thank y'all for making Spurs In Focus your first and only spot for all things silver and black. Yeah, seriously, come back here every single day on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify. What else you got? YouTube podcast, Pocket Cast. No excuse for you to not subscribe to Spurs In Focus. Follow me on X at Jeff G Spurs Zone. Go check out the Substack, Spurs In Focus. All the articles, game previews. Seriously, the list goes on and on. It is there and it's completely free. You want to do that right now. Everybody else, we might be back tomorrow. There's a possibility we might have another episode tomorrow. That's still in the works. If not, definitely be back on Wednesday. So for Mr. Matt Guzman, I am Jeff Garcia, and now you're in focus with Spurs In Focus.